Hey, everybody.
Hi, guys. Well, from the chilly climes of Salt Lake City, Utah,
It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
the podcast.
I'm Frank.
And I'm Dan.
Coming up on today's episode, we are going to talk about... What are we talking about, Dan?
Death.
Death.
Your death. Not your death, specifically. Unless you've caused the death of others. We're going to be talking about the death penalty.
Death penalty.
We're going to be talking
Why
about...
did I drew a total blank. That was a legitimate... I
You just-
didn't put it in the outline, and I was like, what's coming up next?
That's okay.
I'm
make it
ready
through.
for it, nonetheless.
Oh, yeah.
I'm ready for this discussion. It's going to be great.
We're ready.
It was my idea,
Right.
so I don't know why I drew the blank.
Yeah, but we'll be talking about not just the death penalty, but like sort of circumstances surrounding death penalties.
Mm-hmm. And an interesting conundrum that's coming up in Ohio.
Some conundra.
Conundra?
Various and sundry conundra.
Yes.
Is
And
what
couple surrounding one particular potential
Indeed.
execution. So.
Yep.
All right. Well, Dan,
Yeah.
what do you have?
Well, okay. So, I think I'm going to start. I'm going to start with the Vatican.
Okay.
Not the place, but rather the institution or the. I feel like the Vatican should be. We should just. There's a person named quote the Vatican, and he doesn't like what the Pope says a lot of the time.
Yeah. Well, he has to correct what the Pope says.
Right. That's not what the Pope meant. Whatever he said, it's not what he meant.
Yeah. I guess not correct. Clarify.
Clarify that that's not it at all. Well, in this case, what we're talking about is actually a Vatican ambassador, the Vatican ambassador to the U.S.
Oh, yeah.
Which, the Vatican's a country, so I guess they do have an ambassador.
Have ambassadors.
So this
Crazy.
guy named, what is his name? He's Archbishop Carlo Maria Vigano.
There you go.
Signor Vigano. Anyway, he talked to the U.S. the American bishops.
Ah.
I think it's called the College of Bishops or something. I don't know. I'm not seeing that right now. Anyway, his message was kind of interesting.
In what way?
It was not about because the American Catholic bishops right now, sort of what all you hear about from them in the news is Obamacare mandates and just things that they're grumping about gay marriage but mostly when you hear them grumping, it's about like the healthcare law that's going to make their hospitals give birth control to people and stuff.
Awful.
Really, really terrible. Because if there's one thing those Catholics like, it's a lot of children. We need more children.
Yeah.
In the world. Anywho, so this guy basically said he basically told all of these bishops that they should be quote more pastoral.
Oh.
And
Okay.
that they shouldn't that they should not be they should be welcoming and not follow a particular ideology.
This sounds like Francis.
It does sound like Francis.
Sounds like Francis all over it.
Suddenly this Vatican fellow is starting to fall in line with his boss.
Yeah. Interesting.
So yeah, he wants them to be. He's saying that. I mean, and what's funny is that what he's saying sounds like he's just having to interpolate from what Francis is doing. But he said basically, the fact that he's toned down the ostentation of the papacy. Is that a word? Ostentation? I don't know.
The
ostentatiousness. The fact that he's not living in the Pope's quarters, and he's
the papal residence.
He's taking his Renault, his little junker around town or whatever.
Yeah,
he sold the motorcycle though.
He had a motorcycle? I didn't know that.
You didn't hear about that?
No.
Yeah, he sold like his he had a motorcycle and he sold it.
That's like the Pope with a motorcycle is a premise for a sitcom,
right?
I
think almost
a crime
everything
solving duo.
I think
there's like a sidecar.
There should be a sitcom about Pope Benedict and Pope Francis. They are the original odd couple. They're perfect. for a sitcom material.
So you have Francis and Benny.
Francis and Benny and Frank.
But Francis has to, or Benedict has to ride in the sidecar, and he's just grumpy the whole time.
Oh, yeah. And he's just mad at everything. But Francis teaches him valuable lessons as they go on.
While they solve crime?
Is
it crime or
it's
mysteries?
It is mysteries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're a crack investigation duo.
They are. They're solving mysteries. And there's got to be a montage
about God's love.
There's got to be a hallway montage where they're running from door to door with the bad guy chasing them, and they're chasing the bad guy.
It's not Scooby-Doo.
It is too Scooby-Doo. That's exactly what it is.
I would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for the Pope and Pope 2.
If it weren't for you meddling popes. Popey, popey, pope, where are you?
We got some work to do now. If you ever do.
I'm loving this. I don't even care about my story anymore. We have to pitch this to somebody. Crowdsourcing. Everybody now, you need to all tweet
about
wait, what do we call it?
Popey 2.
Popey
Doo.
The
Pope and 2.
Wait. It's got to be the Popey boys, the Hardy Popes.
The Hardy Popes. The Nancy Pope mysteries.
We need a hashtag for this. We need this to become a real thing.
The Nancy Boys. Although that's actually a thing.
I don't think that's
already
work.
a thing. That's already a thing.
Yeah, it is.
And I think it's a crime-solving thing. I just when I was saying it, I didn't even realize it until I heard it. But it's a thing.
Yeah,
it's already a thing.
All right. Well, somehow we're gonna come up with it. Maybe we'll crowdsource the title.
Yeah.
We've decided we need to use you guys a lot more. We need to crowdsource more stuff. It's working out well in certain ways.
Oh yeah.
So we need more of your participation.
In certain ways, we should actually shout out.
We should.
Yeah.
We have a new social media director.
Yeah.
That's what we'll call her, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Mackenzie. Mackenzie's helping us out every week.
Yeah,
she's awesome. Every week, every day.
She just volunteered out of the blue.
Yeah.
She's great.
Yep.
So if you guys want to volunteer to do something,
come up with what you can do.
Yeah.
And pitch it to us.
I'll tell you what
because that's what she did.
I'll tell you what we decided we need. We need to put it now's. If we're talking about it, we might as well put out the call. If anybody knows anything about like PR, press release type stuff, we could use your help.
Yeah.
We don't know anything about that, and we don't.
What you hear right now is what we do.
This is it.
It just so happened that our relationship, our friendship, made sense to put mics in front of.
Right. Because we do, we've already been researching these things. Like this is a common interest. We're both media guys.
Yeah.
So there you go.
But
anyway, so the Pope fighting crime, solving mysteries, demasking.
So wait a second. There's still a story here, right? That we didn't get to?
Oh, who the hell cares? Really? It's not that great a story.
Just tell us what it was.
Well, no, it was just, I did tell you what it was. It was just this Vatican representative sort of telling.
That's it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow.
I just think that's a big deal that they're not to follow a particular ideology.
I'm really glad we ran with that.
Wow. Frank didn't like my story, everybody. Doesn't matter. We came up with the most brilliant sitcom idea. Hey, Comedy Central, where are you?
It's clearly a cartoon. It's clearly animated. It's the only way you can pull it really off.
Yeah. You don't want... What was that horrible one about George Bush that Comedy Central did for a minute?
Bushy...
Something about Bushy. Yeah.
I can't remember.
Was that the cartoon? They did a live action one and they did a cartoon one that was like little kid.
Yeah. That's My Bush was the Matt Stone and Trey Parker one.
Right.
It was live action. That was actually it was set up like the classic sitcom setup. Right. The living room.
And they had like a laugh track and everything.
They had a laugh track and they had a neighbor who would just show up.
Right. That's true.
And so it was they were making fun. Actually, it was a wonderful parody of just the sitcom.
For sure.
More than it was, funny characters, but that's what sold it was...
Hey, Joe, you want to come over and have a barbecue? We should probably do that. I'm going to have a summit with the G8, and then you should come over and have some wieners.
Yeah.
That'd be really fun.
Yeah, then that's what it was.
Oh, I don't ever get to do my George W. impression anymore.
Well, he's not relevant.
I know. All right. Anyway, what do you got?
Well, I'm going to go to Texas.
Tejas.
And I'm going to stay in Texas, actually, for a minute. But
good, then I'm going to stay. I'm going to stay in George W. Then we're going to talk about Texas.
Okay. Doug Phillips, I think his name has come up on the show before.
Maybe
he's this male dominion guy, right?
Like the Bible teaches.
Yeah, exactly. He's all about sort of biblical marriage and basically biblical anything. Yeah, to be honest, like. If it ain't biblical, he really doesn't want to do it or whatever.
As long as it falls in line with what he's interested in.
Yeah, being a conservative douche. Anyways, he had to resign from his ministry after being involved in an extramarital relationship.
Oh no!
It's really, really, really sad.
That never ever happened.
I know. He has obviously let down his 8 children and his wife Baal.
Only 8?
I know.
He's friends with the Duggars.
Apparently one or the other. Like either she's barren or he's clearly impotent or something.
Shooting only 60%.
Yeah.
On those. Because his friends have 19 and counting.
Yeah, I know.
And he's only got 8.
Yeah, he's way behind.
Pussy.
Well, clearly he's been distracted.
Oh,
an
right.
extramarital relationship.
That's what's been doing it.
According to, here's a quote. I engaged in a lengthy, inappropriate relationship with a woman while we did not know each other in a biblical sense. It was nevertheless inappropriately romantic and affectionate. What I want to know is the biblical sense, knowing someone in a biblical sense, is that just straight intercourse?
Is it...
Or did he eat her out or something? I mean, where was the cheating here if there wasn't some sex? I mean, I guess there's emotional cheating. There's that for sure.
Sure. I just love that we need to develop a biblical code for first base, second base, third base, and home. We totally need a biblical code. No is all the way.
All the way.
No is clearly
home base.
Home base.
So
maybe it's like third base is your Song of Solomon. I'm trying to come up with a biblical thing. Have you read Song of Solomon? It's all sexy.
He didn't sing to her in the biblical sense.
He didn't sing to her in the biblical sense. Your second base. I don't know.
Or she didn't sing to him.
Right.
In the biblical sense. Shouldn't sing.
We could just come up with anything. And if you use the phrase in the biblical sense, it just...
Well, the name of his ministry is the Vision Forum Ministries.
Was the Vision Forum.
I'm sorry. But there is also a for-profit business that is associated with the ministry that he has kept. That's the Vision Forum Incorporated.
Oh.
He did not turn over his ownership of this for-profit organization that contracts with the nonprofit.
Right.
In the amount of it was somewhere like $190 some odd thousand last year that was paid from the ministry to the for-profit organization, and so forth and so on.
Mm-hmm.
That apparently is not. Oh yeah, it was $193,176 that
that's
that was paid. That was almost $200,000 paid by the nonprofit for labor and services. And apparently that's not uncommon. A lot of these ministries will have a for-profit business that's associated with them.
Although you'd think they'd want to funnel everything through the nonprofit because they don't have to pay taxes on that.
Yeah, but nonprofits are funny with how you can use the funds, right?
True.
Once you can get the funds out of the nonprofit, then you can pay people exorbitant amounts of money, and it's not public knowledge.
Right.
Right. If you
Although
can just
it's not if it's a ministry, it's not public knowledge anyway.
That's true. That is true.
But I'm sure they have their reasons. They've had
lawyers who've worked this out.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Exactly.
He says for-profits are often used for unrelated. This is not This is the article saying this.
Right.
For-profits are often used for unrelated business income that would not jeopardize the tax-exempt status of a nonprofit, but it can cause perception issues.
I see.
Yeah, I perceive that you're probably using this money for boats and what have yous. But I loved the Vision Forum's About page.
Oh, really?
Oh, this is amazing. I'm skipping a couple of paragraphs into it. It says, while the family is under attack from every side today, God's sufficient word provides clear direction and hope to rebuild the family. And it is our goal at Vision Forum to promote courageous fatherhood, noble motherhood, virtuous boyhood and girlhood through vision casting discipleship tools that
Vision casting?
I know. That teach, equip, and inspire.
Are they talking about, what are they talking about? Like TV shows? Like broadcasting?
Well, no, I don't think so. Because vision casting, I think,
It
is...
sounded like it was like, what do you call it when hippies think that they're sending their consciousness out into the universe?
soul casting?
Or yeah, it's like
I don't
I don't remember what they call it.
Contra casting?
I don't know that it's got the casting, but that's what it sounds
But
like.
anyways, yeah. But these people are all... This is one of those groups that's like... The man is the leader of the household, and the
Right.
woman is subservient, and she runs the house.
Right.
And no, there was a line
She's
in
like
this that I
she's like
didn't
the
read.
secretary of the home
Well,
and maid.
yes. Where was the line? I want to read this thing. I think it's in the second paragraph. It was something about whether you are a home teaching mother or a... that's too bad. I don't know where it's at.
Oh well.
Yeah, too bad. Because it really seriously was a funny line. It was about like this sort of expansive role for the husband.
Right.
And then it was like, or maybe you're a homeschooling mother. And it's like, oh, that's what you want.
Yeah. Obviously.
That's all the woman is supposed to do is be in the home, teach the kids. And while that's a lot of work, it's not like
it's a ton of work.
Like, oh, that's just what she does. It's just she shouldn't have to do that.
No.
If that's not what
now
her
Frank,
life is going to be
Frank,
about, according to her.
I don't think that you're thinking through this because
What am I
frankly
not thinking?
the women should be they should know their place.
They do need to know their place.
And in this society, man, we are losing track of that. Women are feeling fulfilled in their lives.
Well, why can't they feel fulfillment from being a mother?
Right. Well, and if you ask these guys, that's the only thing that will make them feel truly fulfilled.
Right. Oh, clearly.
Real feminine fulfillment comes only from motherhood and from shutting up when a man's talking.
And these men they're real men.
Oh, yeah.
They
Manly
run
men.
their family. They go and they make enough money. They make these livings that can support 8 kids.
Mm-hmm.
Or not
Or not.
support 8 kids.
Or support 20 kids, so you have to have a TV show, because how the hell else are you going to be able to
Well, you wouldn't
support
be able
them?
to.
No.
I mean, there are certain people. There are some. I mean, some people make enough money that they could handle that.
Right.
But you'd have to make a lot of money, just to live like a basic, meager existence.
Yeah.
With 20 kids.
Yeah. It's not.
I mean, there's probably some sort of like, what's that economic, economies of scale. There's probably economies of scale with a lot of kids.
Sure.
Feeding one mouth or feeding 10 or feeding 12.
Or 15.
Yeah.
It gets to
At
the
a certain
point where yeah, I mean when you can start buying in bulk
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
When you can start when your family needs an assembly line
Right.
and you make that work.
And let's face it, they're not buying a 20, bedroom home.
Right.
Well, also they probably don't have all of them at home anymore.
Well, yeah, some of them are left now. Yeah. Anywho, so from there, I'm going to take us to San Diego, California.
Beautiful San Diego.
And as you know, San Diego is a hotbed of crazy conservative Christian activity.
Is it?
Not really, but
I didn't
here's
know that.
No,
about
it's
San
not.
Diego.
It's not at all. But here's an interesting thing.
Uh-huh.
They have a creationist museum in San Diego.
They've got all sorts of stuff in San Diego.
Yes, indeed.
They've
Lots
got a
of
lovely zoo.
lots of
Amazing
museums.
zoo, right?
That Balboa Park is
Park.
awesome.
Chock full of stuff. The Spruce Goose used to be in... No, it wasn't in San Diego. Where was the Spruce Goose?
I think it was in Southern
It
California.
was in Southern California somewhere. But yeah, San Diego, they've always had a lot of amenities. Lots
They got
of
a lot of
things
stuff
to go
going
do.
on.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. So this museum, the Museum of Creation and Earth. So
Creation and Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sounds
What
really
about Earth
good.
creation?
Well, we all know how that happened. All you have to
Blink.
do is read the Bible. It's in there twice.
He folded his arms and nodded his head real quick.
Yes. So, I mean, and this is one of those museums. It's so obvious. It's one of those museums where they've got the dinosaur bones and everything's like, and then they've got images of dinosaurs playing with humans and all of
tossing humans about.
Oh, sure. People riding. You find your safer dinos,
Right.
and you just ride them around.
Well,
It's
clearly
fun.
some would be dangerous.
Some of them are dangerous,
Some
right?
of them are very dangerous.
But you know what? A horse can kick you in the head and kill you.
That's true.
So,
And
frankly,
we do coexist on this planet with, very dangerous animals as well.
right.
There are, lions that would gladly eat you.
Sure.
Yeah.
Bears.
would just tear you apart.
A shark.
Yeah. So, I can imagine living, with velociraptors out in,
Sure.
out in the mountains.
Right. The fact that that couldn't possibly have occurred is not, if geological record is to be believed. Anyway, so there's this museum. It's one of those awful things, and it was sadly rejected. I had applied to be to be a member of the San Diego Museum Council, and they rejected their application.
On what grounds?
Well, you'd think it would be about the fact that it's purporting to be a science museum that is running contrary to all known science.
Okay.
But that's not what it's about, apparently. Apparently, their membership was rejected because of things like their animal care and the protocol and care of their exhibits and storage.
That's convenient. It
I
works.
guess,
They
I
don't have
guess.
to reject them
Also, they had a
for
staff.
the stickier, more ideological grounds.
Right. Apparently there were a lot of areas that were not in line with membership. They have a staff member on their board of directors, and apparently that's not good governance.
Bad.
It sounds like they were just coming up with a lot of excuses
Yeah.
to not let this crap museum into their club.
Ugh, it just sounds awful.
I mean, honestly, why couldn't they just say, you're lying to everybody?
Yeah.
Of course, now the people at the museum are crying foul and saying that it is anti-Christian bias. It's bigotry.
Which, who can say?
Yeah.
But
It's
the problem I see is that they could clean up their act and then be eligible.
Well, that's what he says.
on the
That's what they
grounds
say
that-
they're going to do.
Yeah.
The museum's director, Tom Cantor, he's the president of the museum, says, "quote, I'm afraid we are being opposed for nothing more than the old prejudice against God."
Yeah, people
old-
are clearly prejudiced against God.
Right.
The vast majority of people are clearly prejudiced against God.
Right. Because you and I, even though we don't believe in him, we're prejudiced against him. This is great. The comparison that he makes with his museum's fight for respect. Here's the comparison he makes. You ready for this?
What?
It's like we're in Selma, Alabama in the 1950s, and I want to have a museum on Black Americans. Do you think I'll be accepted by the Council of Museums in Selma, Alabama?
Wow. That's where he decides to go? Yeah. Clearly.
It's just like that.
Makes
It's
a lot of
exactly
sense.
like that. He's fighting.
Yeah.
The only difference would be that instead of the majority of Americans being against you, the majority of Americans are kind of with you. That would be the big difference.
And also I'm sure a museum in Selma, Alabama, the angle that it would have had on African Americans,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
would
That
not
would
have.
that would not
he
have-
probably would not have had any problem
no.
getting.
But it would have been an unpleasant experience.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I just I love the idea that he's so put upon. Oh, he's so fucking put upon.
God, you know what? I bet that council's run by Hitler too. Those are Nazis on that council.
Probably those God prejudiced Nazis.
That Hitler running that Nazi council has all this prejudice against
Yeah.
God.
I think we need to go. Next time I'm in San Diego, I'm definitely going to this thing. I think it's in a strip mall.
Is it a good one? Is it one of the good ones, or is it just like that thing that we saw down in Dallas?
I'm thinking that it's better than the Dallas one. This one looks better. This one looks legit.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
And but they all end up disappointing us. But I think I've heard of this one. I think I've heard that it's pretty good.
I have a feeling that one in Kentucky or wherever it is would not disappoint.
No, that one would be good. That one would be good. We'll have to get there at some point. Anyway.
At some point. All right. Well, like I said, I'm staying in Texas. This one was actually well, okay. Anyways, the headline: motivational speaker at Richardson School criticized for gender stereotyping, and turns out that the guy is a religious motivational speaker, and he was brought in by the school district to speak at the high school,
at the public high school.
At the public high school, and I guess one of the interesting things is, let's just kind of talk about what he talks about. He and Doug Phillips would get along just fine.
Yeah.
As far as like their ideas of like the roles of men and women,
right,
in good Christian families,
right, masculinity and femininity.
Yeah,
if you're a boy, then be a boy, and if you're a man, if you're a girl,
be a woman,
be a good girl.
Yeah.
And here's how.
And so anyways, so it caused quite the ruckus. I guess they announced it to the school, to the students, that it was going to be happening the day prior, and a lot of the kids went home and looked the guy up on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were armed.
That's the
ready.
mistake right there.
Yeah,
that's
they mentioned his name.
Yeah, you don't tell them who it's.
We're just having a motivational speaker tomorrow.
We're going to motivate you, you guys. You'll feel so motivated by this guy and his message.
So they look him up, and they were just like, they were ready. And I guess they were tweeting about it and whatnot. There was a hashtag. The guy's name is Lookadoo. Justin Lookadoo.
Which is not a real person's name, is it?
Lookadoo.
Is that a real name?
I think Lookadoo might be... Lookadoo. Yeah, sure. Why not? I can imagine worse names.
But
that
the
just
hashtag
happened.
that they came up
The
with
kids
is so good.
Hashtagged all their tweets about him with Lookadoosh.
Look, a douche. Well, why did they object? What did he say?
Well, he said he totally generalized, obviously, the sexes. And he has these dateable rules, right? He was saying to the boys, you need to be dateable, and I have dateable rules. And the girls, you need to be dateable, and blah, blah, blah. And saying things like, telling that all men are honest, or that men should be honest, chivalrous, wild, and adventurous. And the girls should be mysterious and confident, and let the men lead.
Of course they should.
So, of course, this caused afterward quite a hubbub with some parents.
Well, it was more than just that. I mean, it was like girls should be... It was basically like shut up and listen and stuff, wasn't it?
Okay. I have his 10 rules. His
good.
dateable rules for girls.
Oh, yeah. This will be good.
1.
And everyone, we need you to pay attention and take this stuff to heart. This is good stuff.
Because, we're looking out for you. We
Right.
want you to be dateable.
Right. Ladies.
Lady listeners.
Ladies.
Okay.
Get dateable. Here you go.
1. Accept your girliness.
Yeah.
You're a girl. Be proud of all that means. You're soft. You're gentle. You're a woman. Don't try to be a guy. Guys like you because you are different from them. So let your girliness roar.
Yes.
Soar, not roar.
Yeah, let it soar. Don't be a woman, hear me roar.
No, be a girl and let it soar.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
That's a good little rhyme we came up with.
2, tell it like it is. Dateable girls don't lie to themselves. They don't say stuff like, his girlfriend just isn't good to him. That's why that's why he's seeing me on the side. Or, she started it, so I'm going to get even. The dateable girl lets God run the world and tells herself the truth, that all she can control is herself. And she doesn't imagine things to be more than they are.
Okay, whatever.
3, the sexiest thing on a girl is happiness.
Boobs. Oh.
It's her happiness.
Oh. Actually, that's kind of good.
Okay.
I like that.
Girls,
I'm gonna kind of give him a pass on that one.
Girls try so hard to add beauty and sexuality to themselves with clothes and makeup, but the truth is, it's your spirit that makes you hot.
So don't wear clothes and makeup.
Your outfit, your outlook on life, your happiness factor. Dateable girls aren't downers; they love life.
Oh yeah, don't be a downer.
That's just good advice for anybody.
Don't have feelings.
Just be happy. Yeah, okay, I'm fine with that. I mean, it's patronizing and kind of weird, but anyways,
it's kind of the Mormon thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mormon women are very, very much expected to be happy, always
all
happy.
Mormons are happy.
Yeah, but Mormon men can be grumpy.
There's more space for it. Yeah, you're right. 4, girls don't fight girls ever. Revenge belongs to God. Says more.
Okay, sure. Yeah, you can skip the
dateable
lengthy.
Girls know that when they fight other girls, they look stupid and catty. That's good. 5, believe in your beauty. Okay. 6, be mysterious.
Yeah, because that's so important.
Dateable girls know how to shut up.
Oh, that's mystery.
Oh, that's being mysterious.
That's creating an air of mystery.
They don't monopolize the conversation. They don't tell everyone everything about themselves. They save some for later.
Oh, God. Just ladies,
shut up.
Just shut the hell up.
We really don't care.
What the hell are you talking about?
We just want to look at your happiness.
There's a man. Okay. There's a man talking here. Will you shut up, please?
All right. 7, act confident. 8, look him in the eye.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. 9, let him lead.
Yeah.
God made guys as leaders. Clearly. I've had so many good male bosses.
Oh, yeah.
Dateable girls, get that and let him do guy things. Get a door. Open a ketchup bottle.
Let him do all of those things. You don't need to open stuff.
And 10, need him. Dateable girls know that guys need to be needed. A dateable man or a dateable girl isn't Miss Independent.
Don't learn how to change a tire, for the love of God.
Yeah. And apparently most of the hour-long talk was aimed at the girls with this kind of drivel.
Of course.
And it was about relationships.
Because, boys will be boys.
And when he talked to the boys, it was all about achievement. Girls, be dateable. Be dateable, girls. Guys, go out and do something.
Go out and make something of yourselves.
Go be a man.
Will ya?
Go do something.
Be a success.
Yeah.
Your job is to succeed.
So, yeah.
Her job is to give you a blowy when you're done.
Yeah. So when they were done, a bunch of kids went down to ask him to talk to him. And a lot of them were there to take pictures or shake his hand, whatever. But this is reporting that most of them wanted to tell him how much they objected to his message.
Nice.
And so one girl said, "We've all read your website." One girl said, "Why do you think it's okay to generalize about a whole sex?" Another asked. What about gay, lesbian, or transgender kids? Several students asked.
Yeah.
What about students who don't fit his stereotypes? What about high school relationships that do work out? Well, because he says this whole thing about you're not going to be dating the same people.
Oh yeah,
right. Which is
I mean the kids. I love to hear that the kids have his number. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, and frankly, all you have to do is see a picture of him to know. Oh, you don't need to take this guy's advice.
This guy is unfortunate. His hair is.
It's like Guy Fieri, married a Muppet, and this is what they came up with.
It's like Guy. And they had Pinhead as a child. No, Guy Fieri married Pinhead because it was all these tiny little spikes,
Little
like tiny
spiky
spikes all over his head that are like 2-3 inches long, and that were all like bleached. That yellow white color,
bleach blonde. Yeah, I think anyone can look at him and know, oh, I don't need to take any advice from this man.
But I just love that they looked him up before going.
Yeah.
But they were smart enough to be like, who is this guy we're going to be?
It does give you hope, doesn't it? Gives you a little bit of hope that they're on their game, these kids.
Absolutely. Yep. And then, of course, there are dateable boy rules, but
who cares?
We can skip those. They're what you would think. I do love
Be manly.
Men of God are wild, not domesticated.
Maybe we'll post his
dateable guys aren't tamed.
Didn't you say he has like a quiz?
They don't live by the rules of the opposite sex.
Yeah. Oh, you're damn right. I don't live by your rules, Missy.
You were saying something earlier about like this guy had a bad experience. This guy
was rejected early and often by women. This man,
and it was clearly their problem.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Not his.
This guy had like one too many girls actually like be themselves and see through his bullshit quick.
Yeah.
And they were just like, I don't think I want to date you anymore. Well, that shouldn't be your choice. I'm the man. You do what I say.
Yeah.
I'm the man. No, come back, Susan. Shut up.
Oh.
All right. Well, speaking of knowing who should be dated and who shouldn't be.
Okay.
I'm going to go back to Catholic bishops. It's bishop time again. What are you giggling? Bad segue?
I closed a tab, and the tab that was under it was a picture of the dude.
And you just catching a glimpse.
It's a particularly bad one.
We'll post a picture.
His picture will need to be posted.
We'll make sure that Mackenzie posts a picture. Thanks, Kens. I can't decide if I want to call her Kens or Mac.
Well, she suggested Kens after you asked about Mac.
I know.
So I would go with Kens.
But she said Mac was okay too. I just want to go with the one that I like the most.
What about the one that she like?
Are you telling me to listen to a woman about something? Because I was just told not to. Okay. Anywho, I'm going to move on. So the bishop, the Catholic bishop in Springfield, Illinois, has declared that Satan is behind his state's recent legalization of same-sex marriage.
Wait, what?
Satan is behind it.
Well, they need to root him out.
Well, guess what?
Okay.
We got it. He is on top of it.
What?
He says, so next Wednesday at about the same time that Governor Pat Quinn signs the gay marriage bill into law, Bishop Thomas Paprocki will hold an exorcism ceremony in reparation for the sin of same-sex marriage.
Wow. And is it going to get
get on out of here?
Is it going to get rid of gay marriage?
No, I don't.
So what is it doing? I don't understand.
I don't suppose that he thinks that will actually happen.
Then I don't understand. So shouldn't there be an actual real world result from like exorcising
you would think
Satan from a process that?
You know, we talked about this probably more than a year ago. We talked about an exorcism prayer that was being offered at abortion clinics, and they were going to exorcise the demons of abortion or whatever.
Yeah. And they stopped. They were successful, right?
Right, because there are no more abortions performed in the United States of America.
It's remarkable what exorcisms can achieve.
Success. That was the one that was like that they were doing the prayer of Saint somebody, and part of the thing had something about seize the dragon. You remember that? Seize the dragon? I almost I was like this close. A friend of mine suggested that we made a Carpe Dragon like t-shirt or something.
Yeah.
But it would take too much explaining is what I finally decided.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's doing an exorcism to get rid of it.
Good. He should. You know what? He should. I think he should.
I think so too.
He needs to follow. He needs to do it. If that's what he feels, he needs to do it, and let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah.
He might succeed, and I'm willing to risk that.
It's officially called, the ceremony will be officially called Prayers of Supplication and Exorcism in Reparation for the Sin of Same-Sex Marriage.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe he's just trying to protect himself at this point, so that when God's wrath comes down...
He's like, look, I did what I could.
Yeah.
Jesus, I did what I could.
Yeah.
These people...
I don't get it. They love each other.
These
And
damn
there was
gays.
nothing we could do once they loved each other.
It was bad enough that they were being gay, being gay. But now they're trying to be gay and like commit to each other. And
it wasn't bad enough. They've hated gays always. Now they've just been pushed further and further to the margin as far as like what they're allowed to do or whatever against the gay community.
Yeah.
And now it's that they don't want us to marry.
Indeed.
And that's about it that's left.
Yeah, that's all they got left.
I mean, you did see the a couple weeks ago, even the Mormon senators in the US Senate are in support of broad gay rights.
Yeah.
Not marriage, but like workplace.
But at least workplace protections.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. All right. Is it my turn?
Sure.
Is it my turn?
Please take a turn.
Well, we are once again approaching the Christmas season. If you're in Venezuela, it already started a few weeks ago. But here in the United States, we are quickly approaching Christmas. And so the discussion of the war on Christmas it's come out once again as well. And so Sarah Palin has written a book called Good Tidings and Great Joy, Protecting the Heart of Christmas.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Someone needs to be protecting the heart of Christmas.
Well, and she is.
Good.
This book, she makes sure, basically she's upset, of course, like a lot of Christians, about, creches no longer being allowed on public land and that kind of stuff. The stuff that you expect, and it kind of makes sense. They had their day,
right?
And when they were getting away with stuff they shouldn't have been,
yeah.
And now they're not, and they're upset about it. Okay, and they like people to say Merry Christmas. And I'm actually fine with it. We've talked about this before.
Well, they don't just like it. They get really obnoxious about it.
About if somebody says Happy Holidays, they go, well, Merry Christmas.
I say Merry Christmas. I had somebody, when I worked at retail, I had somebody come up to me and say, we finished our transaction. I sold her the thing that I sold her. And then she was like, and I don't say Happy Holidays. I say Merry Christmas. And I was like, okay, it's less nice when you say it like that, as opposed to just saying Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
I think she wanted me to congratulate her, or like, oh, good for you.
That is very brave of you, ma'am.
Wow. How is that going over? That's amazing.
Well, anyways, apparently the gist of the book, if you start to I'm reading one review. I will admit, I've only read one review, and to be fair to her, maybe I should read the book.
No,
I have a feeling it might be kind of fun.
It might be. Did she write it, or was it ghostwritten?
The article doesn't go into that.
Okay.
So I don't know. But the gist of the book is, it isn't, okay, so when I think about like the war on Christmas, the way that I conceive the war on Christmas is that the commercialization of Christmas has taken away from the message of Christmas.
Right.
Like that's what I really think of. I think that should, if I were a religious person, that's what I would be most concerned about, is that we're focused on the wrong things. We're focused on the secular aspects of Christmas, the Santa Claus and the rampant consumerism and blah, 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 right? Like that's what I personally would imagine that I would be upset about.
Sure.
Okay. There was a great film that came out a few years ago called What Would Jesus Buy? Right. And it was this whole like this guy is on a tirade against commercialism around Christmas, and I was like, wow, yeah, okay. If this is a religious holiday, he's absolutely right. It should be about giving something from your heart, making something for someone, or going out and buying a really thoughtful gift, but not 5 thoughtful gifts, right? Like, that's just not necessary.
Sure.
And so anyways, I'm kind of rambling. But apparently, if you read the book, it's really about keeping Christmas in the commercialization of Christmas.
Good.
It's in the mess. She talks a lot about being at stores that actually have decided to, say Merry Christmas.
Right.
And it's filled with apparently such wonderful observations or anecdotes about her own personal life, such as the one about her family putting on Christmas Eve. They put a menorah on the table as, quote, as a way to acknowledge Christianity's Judeo-Christian roots.
Oh, good.
Christianity's Judeo-Christian roots.
I think the most important part of Christianity's roots is their Christian part of their Christian roots. I think if you're thinking about the roots of Christianity, you really want to go Christian.
Right.
But the menorah is nice.
Yeah.
That's a nice thought.
Yeah.
Because I wonder, I really would love to sit down and just have an hours-long conversation with this woman. Just pick her brain for hours. Just tell her.
You think it would go on for hours?
I think I could get
picking Sarah Palin's brain.
I think I could get her. She can talk for hours. Whether it's
is that picking her brain, or is it just getting her to ramble?
I would just get her to ramble. I would love that. I'd just get her rambling on whatever thing. I would have it recorded so that I could refer back to it.
Right.
I would just love that.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Apparently, she makes some comments about atheism.
Yeah.
In it.
She says it's that the war on Christmas is defense of Christmas is a weapon against angry atheists and quote liberal seculars.
Oh yes, liberal seculars.
And then the article says, in one of the many excursions down the rabbit hole to Tea Party stomping ground, charitable giving at Christmas becomes evidence against evolution. Quote, I bet Charles Darwin never understood this, says Palin. If the world could be described as truly survival of the fittest, why would people collectively be stricken with a spirit of generosity in December?
First of all, I love the fact that we are stricken with generosity. It's an ailment that we as humans get. When suddenly we are stricken. Oh, I've come down with the generous. I have to give to people. Oh, it's terrible. The other wonderful thing about that is that actually, evolutionary biologists will tell you all about how human generosity is an evolutionary mandate. Mm-hmm. They'll go all into that. We
getting
are
through the winter months. If you're
we're a social species. We have to look out for each other, or else we die as a species.
It actually makes sense that in cold places, where crops aren't growing and food's not readily available, that there would be a sense of we need to give.
Yeah.
Right now, we need to take care of the less fortunate among us.
An evolutionary mandate to do so.
Yeah, exactly.
It totally makes sense.
It makes absolute sense. But also, just from a social perspective, our society is used to that now.
And we like celebrations in December when it gets dark and we get depressed. Yeah. We want to have a nice, fun time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there you go. I think that's awesome. She apparently, I'm just looking at an Amazon review, but apparently she also wrote, an angry atheist with a lawyer is one of the most powerful persons in America.
That's good to know.
Yeah, that's get some lawyers, people.
Get angry and lawyer up.
Apparently,
be really powerful.
You and I aren't very powerful because we're just not that mad.
We're not mad, and I don't have a lawyer.
I mean, I have people that I go to if I need lawyering.
Sure,
but I don't have any. I'm not lawyered up in that way.
You're not suing.
I'm not suing nobody.
You're not suing anybody with your needs of lawyering.
I am not currently in litigation. But if I got mad enough, I could be powerful.
According to Sarah Palin.
Oh, well.
And she would be terrified of you.
Oh, yeah. I'm scary. I'm very scary. I think this is tongue-in-cheek. There's a 5-star review on Amazon that calls this book the pinnacle of Western civilization. I think there might be some snark there.
Or, sadly, maybe not.
No. One of the quotes, why read Aristotle? Why read Sartre? Why read Shakespeare? Well, here's the answer. All of those lesser lights were preparing us for this. Yay for snarky reviews. I love
Sarah
it.
Palin, just when you thought she had disappeared.
And of course,
I thought she had. Maybe not. Maybe people who watch Fox News have been seeing her. I don't know.
Right.
But like,
no, she's got to come back for Christmas. It's like Santa.
Oh, yeah.
It's like we should come up with the story of Sarah that comes back every Christmas time.
Saint Sarah
to save Christmas once again.
Every year a new book from Saint Sarah.
We can write some songs.
I guess one of the great things is there's a bunch of recipes at the back of the book.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Including a recipe for the very difficult to find recipe for Rice Krispie treats.
Oh, yeah. How do you... No one knows how to make that.
And it's not on the box.
Maybe if you're a chef who's gone to, the Cordon Bleu School of Culinary Delights, maybe then you might figure it out. We need to find out where she is and follow her everywhere she goes and just have jingle bells and just jingle the bells behind her.
Merry Christmas, Sarah!
You just follow her around.
Just carol the hell out of her house.
She would like it. She'd be like, "Oh, cool," for like 5 seconds, and then we'd just be like, "Shing, shing, shing,"
but
shing,
never
shing,
heckle.
Shing, shing. No,
it's just constant. The most amazing Christmas ever.
Just
following her around.
We're Will Ferrell in Elf. We are just happy as shit about Christmas, and we're just gonna Christmas the hell out of her.
I'm really imagining this, and I really love it.
She's like running and shooing us away, trying to get away from us.
The problem is she's most likely holed up at her Alaska house.
Yeah.
And being outside, caroling, but harassing her would not be like...
Let's do it in June. We'll go up in June, and
Christmas all year,
we'll
Sarah.
just Christmas the hell out of her.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, if you've got ideas of what we can do for Sarah Palin's, to help Sarah Palin save Christmas, you can send them to us. We are reachable.
Yes, we are. Facebook.com/TGIAtheist. You can go there, like us.
Yeah, we got more and more likes these days.
More and more these days.
It's still not a ton.
Yeah.
We're still nowhere near, like, it's a fraction of what we know our listenership to be, but that's understandable. I get it. You don't necessarily want to come out on Facebook, but just know you should probably stop in sometimes because there's fun stuff happening there all the time.
Yeah.
Anywho, you can also write to us. That's podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or you could leave us a voicemail at 424-666-8442.
You can indeed.
We're going to take a quick break.
We're going to listen to Ted Cruz, the famous American senator who is real grumpy about the conservative stuff. He's very conservative.
Holy cow, he is. Look at this picture.
Oh, yeah. But so this is his father, Rafael Cruz, who's apparently a pastor. And we didn't know. So this is good stuff from Rafael.
Now, there are other foundations that the world sets on us. Let's talk about two of them which are very interrelated. One of them is atheism. The other one is secular humanism. Let's look, for example, at the behavioral consequences of these two foundations. Well, if there's no God, then we are ruled by our instincts. There is no moral absolutes, which means we operate by situational ethics. which unfortunately is something that is being taught in every high school in America. And situational ethics basically says that right and wrong depend on the circumstances. In other words, it's a moral relativism, where you make your rules as you go on. And then actually they've taken it to the level to say, it doesn't make any difference what you believe in as long as you're faithful to what you believe in. In other words, you make your own set of rules, and then you live by your own set of rules. And of course, he said they are no absolute. When it is convenient, you change the rules. Do we know any politicians that have done that?
Hitler.
Well, we don't have to go that far, Larry. Just go to Washington.
Well, I thought I
Just
started.
go to the White House. So, and of course, this leads us, when there are no moral absolutes, leads us to sexual immorality, leads us to sexual abuse, leads us to perversion, and of course, no hope. No hope.
We don't have any hope. We're hopeless.
No, we have no hope.
Oh, no hope. Oh my God.
Well,
The guy
I
that
mean,
yells
it's
out,
just-
Hitler! Hitler! And
Yeah.
he's like, that's not where I was going. That's
Yeah.
not where I was taking this.
Don't go so far.
Larry. Get it together, Larry. Oh my God. I love...
atheism is so bad.
And it leads you to moral relativism.
Because how are you going to have any sense of right and wrong?
Here's what I love. What I really love is the fact that he is decrying moral relativism. But I guarantee you, he's a moral relativist.
Yeah.
He just doesn't he won't recognize it. Because, if I said, hey, it's me and another guy in a room and I pull out a gun and shoot him, is that okay? And he'll say no. And then I say, it's me and Hitler alone together in a room and I pull out a gun and shoot him, is that okay? Well, if he says maybe, you're a moral relativist, you dickhead. I got news for you. Morals are relative.
Yeah.
That's just that.
But you can make your own rules, Dan.
And I do.
You make your own rules. You live by them, so it's okay.
But then,
And then you change them.
when it's convenient.
Yeah.
And then when it's convenient, you
Change them back.
Yeah. Oh, it's terrible. I've never heard of such an awful thing in my whole life. Actually considering your own morals, your own moral compass.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we've never heard of, Christians not going with their real morals.
Oh, I know.
That's never happened.
Yeah. Including this guy that didn't know that didn't know that woman biblically in Texas.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But he still had to resign. All right. Well, we've been written to, and we've been
Oh, no.
we've been hailed.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so the first thing I'm going to get out of the way right away
Oh, yes.
is that we were positively bombarded by people excoriating us for our handling of a story last week about Peter Boghossian.
Yes.
Or Boghossian, or Boghossian, or Bug. I don't
You
know.
better be careful, Dan.
I know. Now I'm going to get more
Because
letters.
People aren't going to like your pronunciation of his name at this
I'm
point.
going to get more letters. Some people just took us a little bit to task.
Yeah.
Some people decided that they couldn't listen to us anymore.
Which is unfortunate
Well, one guy.
for over one story.
One
He
story.
said he'd listened to everything and loved
Yeah.
us, and now he stopped.
And can I just say, if you guys are sensitive enough that a single story, you'll be with us for 2 years, which, by the way, happy anniversary.
Oh, happy anniversary, Dan. That was today.
It's today. Today's
It's today.
our 2-year anniversary.
November 15th.
It is.
Yeah.
Indeed. So if you've been listening to us for 2 years and one story can put you off of us forever,
If you know that about yourself,
you might want to, I don't know, toughen up.
be a man.
Grow a thicker skin. Yeah,
Be a man.
Be a man. It's not manly. Womanly.
Well, I don't want to be offensive to anybody, but yeah, I mean, it bothers me that we would have strayed so far, potentially, that according to someone that they would stop listening.
Well, yes.
I don't like that.
No, I don't either. Here's the thing. You guys know who we are. You know what we're about. We're gonna piss you off at some point.
And you know what? We might even get something wrong.
What?
Yep. I think you know
What?
that about us now.
Yeah.
But we'll always own up to it.
Right.
If somebody calls us on something, and so we have an opportunity now to rectify the situation a bit.
Indeed. So next week, you Bogosianites will be happy to hear that we will have Mr. Bogosian himself on the show.
So that's going to be happening next week.
So hopefully, we won't be answering any of your emails or missives or anything to this week.
We're going to leave that,
but we will. But just know that it's in the works. We're gonna have him on next week, and he will set us straight, and then we will set him straight.
as we would clearly do.
That's totally what we do.
Or that's who we are.
Anyway, we got some emails. Mick wrote to us from the UK. The UC, as I like to call it.
Good.
He says, "Hey, I'm a 14-year-old gay guy from over the pond in England. Hi, gay guy.
Hi."
And he says he wanted to let us know that in his school, which is only for boys, he puts parentheses, bonus points for me. You dirty little boy. We have a massive push for anti-homophobic bullying. Nearly every classroom has the "some people are gay, get over it" poster, and another one which he sent to us. Anyway, I think that's great. He wanted to let us know that because we had talked a while back about religious education in English public school.
Oh yeah.
And he says that now at least in his secondary school, he has a religion and philosophy class. So it's not just RE. It's not just religious education. It's religion and philosophy class.
Okay.
And he says he doesn't know if he doesn't think it's the same in every school, but the curriculum is most likely similar. It deals with Christianity as the main religion, and then asks questions like, how could the problem of evil lead to someone not believing in God, etc. Something along those lines.
Okay.
Anyway, I just Mick, thanks for writing in. That's actually a fascinating correction, and it sounds like things are moving in the right direction.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Cool.
It's a great thing.
Yeah.
Let's see. Malcolm wrote to us from Australia. He says, he actually wrote to us from Taipei, but he's from Australia.
Okay.
And he says he loves our approach and everything. He wanted to defend the Salvation Army a little bit. As you'll recall, last week we talked about the salvos, as they're called there, or Sally Ann, as it's called in Canada.
Really?
Oh, yeah, they call it... Well, I mean, their thrift stores are called the Sally Ann. Let's go down to the Sally Ann.
Okay.
Anyway, he said, sure, like most religions or brands of Christianity, they have some nutty beliefs. However, they do have... they do the hard yards, which is a phrase I don't know. I'm not familiar with the phrase the hard yards.
I wonder what it comes from. The hard yards.
They do the hard yards.
Is it a sporting reference of some kind?
Could be. Don't know. Anyway, it's the Aussies and their things. Anyway, he says during World War II, it was the salvos who were up close to the front lines in Papua New Guinea on the Kokoda Trail. Trial? That says trial. Anyway, I'm not familiar with this. But he says, after weeks of jungle warfare, my two great uncles told stories of emerging from the jungle to be greeted by a Salvation Army officer with a cup of tea, fruitcake, and a cigarette, and other luxuries. No one else had the guts or bravery to do this. This is why I and many other Australian families give generously to the salvos. So despite being an atheist and not agreeing with their views on same-sex relationships, I will continue to hand over a few dollars every time I see a Salvation Army stand at a shopping center. They are at heart decent people. Keep up the good work. Love the podcast. Cheers. Malcolm, P.S. he says, I can't recall the last time I heard of a Salvation Army officer found guilty of murdering a gay person for doctrinal reasons. And that's true.
That is true.
They've never done it.
Yeah.
But the guy said that that's their belief, that gays should be put to death. And while I appreciate the fact that he's holding firm to, something in the Bible, that's just not acceptable. That's not an acceptable belief. Yeah. It's not okay.
So, think about revising that and continue doing good in the world.
Yeah, look, I have no problem with them doing good. Neither of us had any objection to the good that they do. We didn't say that they don't do good.
Right.
We just said there are other groups that do good also and that don't preach at anybody.
Yeah.
And that don't hate gays and stuff. So I would rather put my dollars towards someone who's doing the same kind of good.
Right.
but are not hurting people also as part of their mission.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there's that. Anyway, thanks for writing, Malcolm. And then, Brian wrote to us. He said, "Can you all throw out some alternative charities to the bell ringers?" He looked on our website, and there were none to be found there.
That is true.
And he said, "Have you talked about agnostics versus atheism?" Yeah, well, we have talked about that, so we're not going to talk about that, Brian. But here's what I wanted to do. I wanted to, again, crowdsource.
Okay.
I wanted to put a shout-out to people in the Podiverse. Is that a thing?
Sure.
We'll call it that.
The podosphere.
The Podosphere. All of you poddy people, all of you listeners at home, go to our Facebook page or write into us here at the podcast and give us your favorite non-religious affiliated charity.
Yeah.
I would love to come. Well, yeah, I'd love for us to
we'll
have
put together a list.
a good list going. Yeah. I'll start us off and say that the Road Home here in Salt Lake City is a fantastic organization.
Yeah.
Non-religious, and they just help homeless peoples of all ages and genders.
Yeah. Get them back on their feet. They run a lot of homeless beds space.
Yep.
That came out totally awkwardly, but you get what I'm saying.
Right.
They have a lot of space for homeless. It's the main one.
Yeah.
It's huge.
And so that's a good place to start for you Utahns. Mm-hmm. But we want more. We want to hear about it. So we're sourcing it out to you guys. Send it in. Go to the Facebook page. I'm pretty sure Mackenzie will be on the ball and put up something, a question or something. As a matter of fact, you know what? Let's make that our Sunday survey.
Okay, we'll do that.
Sunday survey this week. What's your favorite non-theistic charity for the holiday season?
Yep. All right. Well, cool.
Well, thanks for writing in, guys. I think we've got one voicemail that we wanted to play.
We do. We've got one.
I just want to say thank you to both Ben and Frank for the podcast that you guys put out. I used to listen to two podcasts about a year and a half ago that unfortunately aren't around anymore, the Chariots of Iron podcast and the Atheist News podcast. So I'm just glad that I found another good podcast by like-minded people that I can just sit down and laugh with. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day and stay classy.
Well, we appreciate that.
Well, thank you.
We're going to try to stay classy.
We will try to. I don't know that I started out very classy, but I'll stay as classy as I possibly can.
Now that you are.
Now that I've achieved this level of class, I will try not to backslide. Oh, but you know what? Here's one thing I'd like to say to our listeners. Mm-hmm. It's nice when you tell us that you like us. We actually really appreciate that.
Yeah, it is nice.
It's also nice when you tell other people that you like us.
Yeah.
If you spread the word a little bit, we certainly wouldn't mind that. You know, go on to the Reddits or whatever, the intertubes. Say a nice thing about us every here and there.
Yeah, it's nice.
It would be lovely. Go to the iTunes and leave a kind review.
That would be really nice. And it's been a long time since we did a little ask for going to iTunes.
Push for the.
So we probably have a lot
rating.
of new listeners that may not have heard us ask for that. So
something we
helps.
Appreciate.
It really does.
It's
help.
very nice.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, do that. So there you go.
Yeah. So it's time to talk about the death penalty.
Why don't you lead us in with your little story there, Frank?
The story that got this all started was a story that I found in USA Today on their website about a killer in Ohio he's on death row, and he was convicted for the rape and murder of his girlfriend's 3-year-old daughter.
Oh shit!
It's an absolutely heinous crime.
He's clearly a bad guy. He's
a bad guy. And he's now sitting on death row waiting to be executed, which was going to happen on this next Wednesday. Or no, I'm sorry, this Wednesday I think is when it was going to happen.
This last Wednesday.
I think so. It was either this last Wednesday or the next Wednesday. Anyways, it was impending, right? And I kept hearing news about this guy, this guy in Ohio who was going to be tried with this new cocktail of drugs, or killed, executed with a new cocktail that hadn't really been tried on anybody before, and he was trying to fight it on those grounds, if I remember right.
Right.
And I didn't really even read any of the stories. This one, however, this headline got my attention because he wants to donate his organs after his execution to some family members, his ailing mother and sister.
Wow.
And anything else that anybody would be willing to take.
Sure.
And you could imagine that some people might have an objection to taking the organs. I don't know, actually. If you're like about to die, do you object to taking the organs from somebody who did something heinous and was just executed?
Well, if you believe in like horror films,
Right.
then no, you don't want that.
Right.
Because you're pretty sure you're going to go and rape somebody because
Right.
you're taking on their essence or whatever.
Right. But clearly, that's not an actual issue.
No, that's
you don't
bullshit.
really care
That's,
about
of course, not scientifically true.
Right.
And so
But
I
it
think
could be a really creep factor, nonetheless.
indeed, if you
Although
know
I
about
would find
it,
it
if you
to
know
be-
who it is,
Yeah. I would find it to be novel.
yeah, sure.
I would be like, guess whose liver I have?
If you need a cocktail party story. There's that one jackass at the party who's telling all of these stories and trying to top everybody. And you just wait. You just lie in wait. You just you hang out because you know that there's going to be this moment where you go,
I have Ted Bundy's kidney.
right, exactly. Oh, that's interesting. My heart used to be a killer's. And then you walk
And
away.
he was executed.
And he was executed.
And I got his heart.
And now I have the heart of a murderer. How do you feel about that? I'm going to go get punch. No, so I mean,
So anyways, and that's not even where we want to linger with this story. It's
Well,
not
no, but-
really about that, but like
but it's partly about that. I mean, I think that
well,
it's,
it is because
it's
what's happened is
Okay.
this plea of his. This I want this to happen. I want
Right.
something good to come from this.
sure,
Caught the attention of the governor of Ohio.
yeah,
And so he has delayed the execution until I believe it was July 2nd.
oh wow,
So he's really put it off and given the prison system time to figure out how to do it because their initial reaction was no.
right.
And they said that it wasn't going to be possible.
Because the last thing that's coursing through his veins is like horrible, horrible poison.
Right. And so I think what I was gathering, and I hope this sounds awful, but I think there was an idea to harvest what they could before he was killed.
What? Oh, so like get out a kidney,
Exactly.
get out a chunk of liver,
Exactly. Yeah.
all of the things that you can get out.
Right. That he doesn't need right
Fascinating.
now. Right.
But it doesn't
and then
solve.
go
But
and
I mean, that's
execute him.
great. But it doesn't solve the larger issue, which is that these guys should be donating. We should be taking their stuff for people that need it.
It should be an option that they can opt into.
Yeah.
I don't think it should be at all obligatory.
Well, no. I mean, we
I
don't
think it
make
should
it
always be
obligatory
something-
for anybody. But I
Right.
mean, this is a good. At very least, it is one small way in which they could, pay back society a little bit.
Yeah.
Their death doesn't pay anybody back.
Right.
Their incarceration costs us money.
Right. Why not put
they're
in
not
there?
there's no reparation here.
Instead of
But if they start like actually giving life to other fellow human
Yeah.
beings, that's a little bit of reparation.
turn the execution chamber into an operating room,
Yeah. And let's
put him under, take out everything, inject him with the thing.
or just take out everything. You take
Well-
out a man's heart, he's going to be dead.
And that's the form of execution?
Sure.
Death by organ
Harvesting. Sure. Take everything. He'll be dead by the end, I promise.
I don't know that that's where I thought we were going to wind up with this, Dan.
Well, I didn't either.
Well, first of all, let's back up and talk about the death penalty.
Well, the death
Because
penalty is
We've
problematic.
been talking about a very specific scenario here and where it sort of leads. But, I'm positive that I know what your opinion on the death penalty is, but I
Are
don't
you?
think we've ever really talked about it.
What do you think my opinion
I think
is?
you're against the death penalty.
I am not sure.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Really?
I've gone back and forth on it. The thing is, I'm against how we deal with criminals in general. Like on a large scale. I don't know that incarceration, I mean, it certainly doesn't work in terms of getting people to stop being criminals.
Well, yes, that's true, but there are certain people who may just need to be locked up and
There are.
separated and segregated from society because
right.
they are unsafe and they are potentially dangerous.
Indeed. I don't disagree with. But those people are insane. Those people are not just bad people who commit crimes.
Right.
Those people are insane.
Yeah. And
so that needs to be dealt with differently.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, I find the whole thing problematic at best. Right now in the United States of America, we lock up more people per capita than any other country in the world.
Except China.
No.
Really?
We
beat China?
We beat China.
Okay. Well.
And what
about North Korea?
We lock up more people than anybody else in the world. Per capita.
Okay. But do they count their labor camps?
Do they count their whole country?
Do they? Because let's face it, they're all locked up.
North Korea is a giant prison, so we won't count that. But the rest of the world, I mean, I don't know. I mean, this is my struggle. So where do you fall on capital punishment?
I am against it.
Yeah.
I just don't think that. I don't think that, I get the desire to snuff the person out.
Right.
To just be like, they've done something heinous, and therefore, and what this guy did is about as bad as it gets.
It is. I mean, but again, no, it's to the point where
it involved a child, it involved rape, and it involved murder. And I think those three,
to me, puts him in the category of insane. You cannot be a sane human and perform those acts.
Well, and you might be right about that, but...
Or maybe you can. I don't know.
But nonetheless, I get this...
he's as bad as it gets.
Yeah, the impulse that people have and the belief that people have that the solution here is to just take him off the earth.
Right.
Just, boom, he's no longer here.
You have lost your living
kill him,
privileges.
Get rid of him, and revoke his right to life.
Right.
I guess. I think that's a pretty fundamental thing.
Yeah.
And I think it's a little crazy that the state's allowed to take anybody's life.
I think you're probably right on that point. I think, here's the thing. There are also major problems with innocent lives being taken, with people on death row who are later proved to be innocent.
Yeah,
and I think that's a big moral issue.
I think it's something.
And I think that how we think about it is really sort of much more important than what we actually come to is less important to me than how we think about it.
Yeah.
It's things like, for instance, the way to prove one of the ways that I prove that we as Americans think about this in a disingenuous way is when we talk about the death penalty, like the carrying out of the sentence, the actual killing of these people.
Yeah.
Because people talk about how it can't be cruel and unusual punishment. It can't be, cruelty-free is how we have to do it. We have to make it as painless and quick as possible.
Yeah.
But what we won't do is let that be in the mind of the person that we're actually doing it to. Because it used to be that most states that had capital punishment had multiple options for how you could be killed, including firing squad,
which they still do in Utah.
Utah still has that on the books. I don't think they do it anymore. I think they try to avoid it.
There was one, the one that Doug Fabrizio did a whole thing on, the one that was like 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay, so firing squad. The most common one now is, of course, the lethal injection. But then there was the electric chair. Of course, there used to be hangings and all of this stuff. And to my mind, the honest exploration of this is if we're really working against cruelty, if that's what we care about, then the cruelest thing is to not let the person choose, is to choose it for them. Because honestly, to my mind, I would rather be shot by a firing squad than given an injection or a series of injections. Yeah. That's just me. I don't claim that anyone else would prefer that. I mean, my ideal, like if I'm to be executed, to be perfectly honest, the ideal for me would be beheading.
Well, yeah.
The first thing that happens is that your brain is severed from your spinal cord. You cannot possibly feel pain. To me, that sounds great. A guillotine sounds perfect for me.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, these guys are subjected not to their own view of what's cruel, but to the societal view of what's cruel. So most states have eliminated every other possibility but lethal injection.
Yeah.
And that's become problematic because the drug companies won't let them use their drugs. Which is why this guy's getting this new cocktail.
Yeah.
Because the drug companies, don't want their drugs associated with killing people. So they're now so
what is it? Is it there's one company that makes it?
There's one company that makes the one that everybody was using.
Okay.
So the way it works is that there are 3 drugs that are administered.
Right. And in conjunction with each other, they kill you.
Well,
is that what it is?
No, it's 3. There's only one drug that kills you.
Oh.
But the first drug puts you to sleep.
Okay.
Knocks you out.
Okay.
The second drug is a muscle relaxant, an extreme muscle relaxant that makes it impossible for you to move.
What about breathe?
You can't move. I think it probably stops your breathing too.
Okay.
And then the third one is the one that kills you.
Okay.
Well, here's the problem with that. Because of that second one, what the second one does is ensure that person cannot register any pain that they're feeling.
Right.
Doesn't mean they can't feel pain. And we have no way of knowing if they're actually feeling pain in those final moments. The third drug takes
They can't register pain.
Right.
Versus they can't feel pain.
They can't show that they're feeling pain because their muscles can't move.
Right.
So even if their brain is even if their brain is like sending out signals to scream, sending out signals to squirm, sending out signals to like do whatever,
but they're supposedly asleep.
Theoretically.
Okay.
But the thing, this is the problem, is that like basically what this series of drugs tells us is that the people don't want to know what's really going on. They want to feel good about themselves while this person is being killed.
Now, isn't that strange? Because like my perception of like a hanging back in the olden days was that it was like a town event.
It was.
You would show up, you would see the execution. Everyone would see this person hang in the town square.
Yep.
So what's changed? Like, why do we? Well, why must it? Like,
I mean, here's the thing:
because there's actually something honest in that, because at least society was facing it.
Right. Exactly.
This person needs to be, and maybe it was a spectacle, which is sick.
It was a little sick, and they would come out and they would celebrate
there,
and they would throw things at the person sometimes or whatever. But at least everyone bore witness.
Yeah.
Everyone was faced with that reality.
It was a true mark on society, right? Like a society that truly accepted it, also truly bore it,
right?
And that's not what we're doing now,
right? And
we're not truly accepting it because we're not bearing it.
And I think that the other lesson to be learned from the fact that it used to be public is that it was meant to be a very visceral deterrent. If you commit the same crime as this man, I want you to look at directly at what happens to him. This is not theoretical. This is not, this is not a concept. This is a man dying for this.
Yeah.
I question whether most of the punishments that we have on our law books are actual deterrents. I think in large part a lot of the literature has said that it doesn't, that a lot of our laws don't deter at all.
In particular, like with gang issues, a lot of them. I know this from where I used to work. A lot of the gang members often see it as a mark of
a rite of passage.
It's a rite of passage.
Sure.
It's something
to go to jail.
To go to jail. It's something that actually is not seen as an ultimate negative. I mean, one of the
it may be that
a tattoo that I didn't see this because I didn't work with that population, but one of the tattoos that was reported back was a kid that had prison bound tattooed.
That's nice.
And isn't that
that's really
wonderful?
cute.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think these are the interesting things surrounding this. I think if we look at what really is happening, what we're saying to ourselves and what we're saying about ourselves by this act, I don't think it paints a very good picture.
No.
Of who we are as a society.
Not at all.
And that's not even getting into the morality of whether or not we should be executing our most heinous criminals. That's just how we're doing it is saying a lot about who we are and why we're doing it. So that's where I stand. I mean, at very least, if we're going to be doing it and they want to give up their organs, hell yeah, we need to do that.
Well, I think the governor's response was absolutely right. He said something along the lines of Ronald Phillips, that's the guy on death row, committed a heinous crime for which he will face the death penalty. I realize this is a bunch or this is a bit of uncharted territory for Ohio, but if another life can be saved by his willingness to donate his organs and tissues, then we should allow for that to happen.
Yeah. I mean, you and I have had the experience of sitting together, actually, in a hospital room, hoping that a liver will come in.
Yeah.
Hoping that the next helicopter we hear, we don't want anyone else to have died, but if that person dies, maybe that helicopter sound has a liver on board.
Yeah.
And our friend died because that liver never showed up.
Right.
Why are we turning away any healthy organs?
Yeah.
Especially from someone who really does owe society something. Someone who has done something so heinous to our society that he owes us. Yeah. Why are we not taking that? It's insane.
I don't know. It's a weird conundrum because it's something that's it's a question that has to be asked in a society where something that's already bad and something that's already wrong, something that we already don't agree with, is happening.
Yeah.
Right. The first thing is that I wish that he wasn't even in the position.
Right.
But then we have to deal with this moral issue of, well, if that's legal, then where do we stand on this other thing?
On this other thing.
Yeah,
and I think that I'm surprised it hasn't come up yet. I'm just surprised this is the first I've thought of it
too. And he says it's uncharted territory the governor says it's uncharted territory for Ohio. But I'm sure some other state has had to deal with this.
Right. And why? Honestly, kill him another way.
Just check his driver's license.
Yeah.
When you're executing somebody, did they check the box?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah, another way. The guillotine would be really clean. I
mean, everybody, the reason that the guillotine was outlawed in France and is outlawed everywhere is because it's a horrific thought.
Yeah.
But you're killing a guy.
Yeah.
Is one way of killing better than another? Why can't...
I think that was everything that you were bringing up.
Yeah.
There is. I mean, that's the crux of the first question, which is...
And the way of killing that's better is the one that, A, the person is most okay with, and B, leaves his organs.
Right. Well, and that also has the added benefit of perhaps being the most humane way you could do it.
True. I think so. I think beheading is great.
No, that hopefully isn't the sentence. Beheading's awesome.
I think...
As far as a way to kill somebody, perhaps.
As far as a way to kill somebody.
If you have to take a stance on that issue.
Yeah. But go ahead and quote me. So go ahead and put beheading is great by Dan. I think beheading
you definitely want the cleaned up you want the guillotine on its first use. Not the guillotine when you've been standing in line and it's starting to get gummed up.
No.
Because there were instances of them having to basically just hack people's heads off.
Right. And you definitely don't want a sword or an axe or anything like that.
No.
You don't want human error to be able to be a factor.
Yeah,
you want a nice, good guillotine. And frankly, the way we do it here in the U.S., it's not like they're lining up anyway. So, it's going to happen one a day.
Oh, yeah.
There's plenty of time to clean that thing out.
If it's in Texas, it's one a day. Right. Everywhere else, it's once a year, maybe.
Yeah.
In Utah, it was seriously 2 years ago that we executed someone.
Right.
So, and then it's usually not even that often.
Right.
But, obviously you would create something totally state of the art. I mean, my God, it could be based on a lagoon ride or something. Like an amusement park ride.
It could be lasers.
Yeah.
Who knows?
You're on a roller coaster car. And there's...
Oh, no! Oh, no!
And there's just this blade.
Whee! And he didn't keep his arms and legs in either. Oh, his arms. We took the arms off with the head. It's fine.
But it would be a fun last 90 seconds.
Absolutely. We could also go the Monty Python route. Do you remember in The Meaning of Life how the guy got to choose his own method of execution and suddenly you see him running around a corner being chased off a cliff by topless women?
Oh, goodness.
These are good ideas.
Well, if you have any ideas of how you would prefer to be executed,
you can send them in.
We'll read them. Our email address is podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Right, or you can go to the Facebook page. That's facebook.com/TGIAtheist.
Or you can leave us a voicemail at 424-666-8442. We'd love to hear from you.
Yep.
Well, all right, Dan.
All right.
That's
Well, happy anniversary.
Yeah, happy 2 years, Dan.
2 years of us just jabbering on.
Nuts.
So it's good to talk to y'all. We'll have Bogosian on next week, so tune in for that, and we'll see you then.
Bye-bye.